What is going on, everyone? This is episode 5 of Littleroot Lessons. As always, I'm your host, Carter Noble, joined by our fantastic co-host, Carl Wilkin. Carl, what's going on today, man?
We've got a really cool team of the week to go over, featuring, I want to call it 100% crit rate, Unfezant. It's kind of correct.
It's mostly correct.
And then we've also got Rose Towers Open, number 2 to go over. We got the top 16 for that. It was about the middle of the week this week, wasn't it? This last week?
Yes, I actually don't have a date on this, so I actually couldn't tell you when.
And then probably going to wrap everything up with how our draft week went this week. I am happy to report that I am still undefeated.
I don't want to talk about it. Worst part is earlier in the week, you said something about on Discord after you won your match. You're just like, man, gonna get to play my undefeated match next week against Tommy. I'm just like, all right, hold on. I haven't even played yet. I don't appreciate the lack of respect I'm getting right now. And then I lost, but you know.
And then what happened?
I got hit by hypnosis twice, and Inteleon just wanted to sleep all day, man.
Yep, that happens.
So let's just jump right into team of the week here, and clearly I am well prepared. There it is. So this is coming from the Norwegian Mafia on Discord. We have this sweet Unfezant team, which has kind of inspired me to start working on a couple different things as well. We were working on it before we started recording the show. So Unfezant also evidently gets super luck, which I did not know until today. So we're kind of just max critting everything with our scope lens equipped. The biggest crit chance we have is with Night Slash. We could go into Sky Attack if we really wanted, but then we had to charge for a turn. We're really frail already, so we're probably not gonna get to live that turn. So,
yeah, no, you get focused down super hard the minute you go for Sky Attack.
So instead, we have Night Slash, Brave Bird, Giga Impact is our other stab move, and then Steel Wing. If we're doing Brave Bird things, I kind of want Roost on here instead of Giga Impact. I understand that, Giga Impact is going to hit for a ton, but I just don't think it's necessary here, and I'd rather have either Protect or Roost. And then what I was doing with Unfezant, instead of Brave Bird, I was doing Fly. It's the next best physical attack we have, and it gives us our turn of immunity with Fly, because we actually get pretty fast. I think max speed we get to 159, which is actually pretty fast. If we're that's 252 plus nature being jolly, so that's fairly fast.
Yeah, I was gonna add into that. It's the scope lens plus super luck means Brave Bird's 50% to crit, Steel Wing's 50% to crit. I honestly could see dropping Giga Impact for Roost. I would much rather have Roost and just be oh, they're gonna try to take me out with an ice type move. Well, now I'm a normal type. And being that fast means Roost is actually decent because you can play around and do little tricky things.
I forgot Roost gets rid of your flying type. That's actually really interesting. It's probably better than Protect for what I'm doing then.
Yeah, especially if you're wanting to run Brave Bird.
Okay.
Moving on through the rest of this team here, we've got a Dragapult with Weakness Policy. Also knows Fly, Phantom Force, Dragon Claw, and Psychic Fangs. Which Psychic Fangs is starting to pick up more in usage because Lapras is a thing. Yep,
being able to break shields is pretty important right now. I know we're going to talk about the Rose Tower Open here. And top 24, I see 0 Lapras. 1 Lapras. I guess it's, top 16, we have 1 Lapras here. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's fallen off the face of the earth, but compared to the last several weeks where we've talked about Lapras quite a lot, going from 6 or 7 in top 32 to 1 in top 8 is, 1 in top 16 is pretty significant fall off. Yep. Granted, Pokemon is a week-to-week thing, so saying, well, this week it wasn't good doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah, agreed. Notably, Dragapult has 2 moves that get you like a turn of immunity with both Phantom Force and Fly.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot.
I know Fly you can get hit by, I think, Thunder?
It's Thunder and Hurricane.
Whereas Phantom Force doesn't have anything that can hit it, correct?
Yep, Phantom Force, you just disappear.
Yeah, you're full immune.
Yep.
This one also has Clear Body on it. I don't think Clear Body is correct when you have access to Infiltrator.
The reason we're running Clear Body is because Intimidate is a thing, and we don't want to be
we are
-1.
physical. You're right. That makes more sense. There's a lot of Intimidate running around right now.
Incineroar is very popular.
Nah, man, Torcat's where it's at.
Moving on down again, we have a physical Propeller Tail Barrascuda.
Barrascuda is normally physical, isn't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's kind of cool because most of the time you see it with Swift Swim in rain teams. Propeller Tail is pretty much stalwart. You can't like follow
can't
me
be
out
redirected.
Of it.
Yep.
So it's going to hit whatever target it wants to hit, and it's going to hit like a truck.
Especially carrying Life Orb, it's going to hit very hard.
Yeah.
The big thing here is like we are very, very fast.
Oh yeah.
Having both Barrascuda and Dragapult, we are extremely fast on this team.
Yeah, this team is just like, I don't need speed control because I have all the fastest mons in the game on my team.
The big downside to that is it makes you significantly worse against Trick Room.
Yeah. Which, funnily enough, we have Liepard here at the very bottom. Liepard is our Trick Room counter.
Because we get Copycat.
Yep.
Okay. Now, does Copycat carry over to the next turn? It just uses move was the
whatever
last
move
used.
was used last. Yep.
Interesting.
It will.
That's actually really interesting. I did not know that.
Yep. So, it's kind of cool that you can just like Trick Room, Copycat their Trick Room after they set it up, and then you just get to undo it, and then just whatever other attack gets to go in, and you just attack again. We're also running Trick for Eject Button shenanigans on this Liepard. We also have Fake Out and Sucker Punch as like our other moves.
I'm disappointed that we also have Vanillux on this team, which has Ice Shard to trigger Weakness Policy on Dragapult. But I'm disappointed we can't Eject Button and then Ice Shard them because of how speeds work, right? How does it... No. Ice Shard is priority +1, right?
Yep.
And so is Prankster?
Yep.
So it comes down to Liepard being faster than Vanillux, which I believe it is?
Yep.
Okay, so it does work.
I'm confused to what you're trying to do.
I want to put the eject button on them and then hit them with Ice Shard to make them go away.
Oh, yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
Yep, you do that. That's fine.
That's actually really sweet. She's like, hey, I don't like what you're doing, go away.
Yeah, notably, you can get rid of Dynamaxes this way.
Which is really sweet because because Dynamaxes are actually immune to quite a lot, considering they're immune to weight-based moves, they're immune to being flinched, so them having a lot of immunities in that is just like, well, at least we have some way of dealing with it. And it makes them waste their Dynamax.
Yep.
Which is significantly important here. I know we talked a little bit about this Vanillux carrying a Focus Sash, Snow Warning, so typical Vanillux things. Or Blizzard Spamming. We have Ice Shard to trigger Weakness Policy on Dragapult if we need to do that. We also have Icy Wind, and then we're going to set up Aurora Veil. Kind of falling out of favor now that we have Alolan Ninetales.
Yeah, I was about to say, Ninetales does the same exact thing that this Vanillux wants to do. It gets Ice Shard, it gets Aurora Veil, it gets Blizzard, it gets Icy Wind. And it's faster.
The biggest difference here is it's 4 times weak to Steel, which actually doesn't seem that big of a problem here.
Because Vanillux also just dies to any Steel type move.
Yeah, Vanillux has next to no bulk.
Like, Vanillux is going to go down to whatever Steel type move hits it, the same as Focus Sash Ninetales does.
The interesting note here is They are full bulk. 252 defense, 252 special defense, with a plus defense nature.
That's why I'm wondering why we're a focus sash. I don't get why we're just like...
I don't think we need that much bulk.
If you're invested in that much bulk, it's better to just invest in your speed and invest in your special so your blizzards hit harder.
Yeah, especially if we're holding focus sash. Granted, I know they were talking about on Discord how they just wanted to work on this some, and so they went ahead and sent this to us just so we could work on it. And that's basically what we want to do with Team of the Week. We want you to send us your ideas, and us, not only critique them and say, hey, this is really sweet, this is really cool, but also be like, hey, you could adjust these few little things and make this better.
Yep.
So, really, really interesting idea here. We haven't talked about Rotom here, have we?
No, but it's a pretty basic Rotom minus the fact that it's like no HP, but defense and special defense investments, and then max special attack.
Yep. Rotom Wash, carrying a Citrus Berry, Hydro Pump, Volt Switch, Ally Switch, and Protect. So what are we Volt Switching into? Is there really anything? There's no Intimidate spam, no nothing like that.
No, I think Volt Switch is just like to get us out if we need to get out kind of situation.
What is Rotom's base speed?
105, I think.
Hello, Google. It is
86.
86 is not that fast.
No. Its special attack is 105. That's where it's at.
You were close. A for effort.
I remembered something on it at least. It's just like not the number we needed. But yeah, this is another one where it's just like your investments are weird. I would have invested in speed first.
Yeah, give me that speed.
And then, like, you don't have to invest in special attack on this thing. You can invest in defense and special defense if you want to.
Especially since we're carrying Hydro Pump in that stab. It hits like a truck.
Like, you don't need the 252 on top of it just to hit very hard. But
I really like what I was doing. Instead of running Rotom, I was running Raichu. So so our Unfezant gains immunity to electric thanks to Lightning Rod.
This also removes Barraskewda's weakness to electric as well.
Ooh, yeah, so, you're right.
Swapping Rotom out for Raichu sounds like a decent idea.
It also lets us, like, we get to paralyze spam people with Nuzzle. If we need, we get access to Brick Break as another way to break screens. Another fake out abuser. So yeah. We can... Lifeguard doesn't get, like, U-turn or anything, right? Not to my knowledge.
Not off the top of my head, I don't think, but I can look real quick.
Well, the biggest thing is, like, Lifeguard really doesn't have an attacking move outside of Sucker Punch, so if we're getting rid of U-turn, we could put, like, Volt Switch on...
It does get U-turn.
Okay, cool. So we can put U-turn on Lifeguard, and then we can have Volt Switch on Raichu and just continuously fake out plus switch out into fake out plus switch out. So
yep.
Just kind of annoy the hell out of your opponent that way.
Yep.
So I really like that switch from Rotom Wash into Raichu. I think that's like the one mon I would change here. Vanillix, yep. I played a little bit with a similar build to this. Vanillix has been really sweet.
Yep. Vanillix was the premier like Aurora Veil user before Ninetales anyway, and so it makes sense. It's like Vanillix kind of just sticks around a little bit longer because it does have a unique niche where it's just like it's ice. It's a pure ice type, but it's also just like ice is terrible into fighting steel and which are both very popular right now. So like
because they're both really popular because you have all your fairies running around and everything else. So steel is just basically everywhere. So
yep,
and you get all the fire mons going around, be it, Incineroar, Arcanine, Torracat, let's see, what others playable? Like, you get coverage
Torkoal, Charizard.
Oh, yeah, I forgot, the Sun team. You have like fire coverage on like Conkeldurr if you need fire punch. Like there's a lot of fire coverage.
Yeah. So
and there's all your fighting types too. So like ice is kind of in a really weak spot if you want me to be honest. Like ice as a type, and I think it's because like your premium ice mon is Lapras, and like everyone is just prepared for Lapras.
Yep, let's say premium ice types go Lapras, Ninetales, and then probably
a giant cliff where everything else is fallen, and then
like
Vanillux,
Belly Drum, Ice-Cube, and like Vanillux both sit at the bottom there.
Minus the cliff in the middle.
Like we don't even see Galarian or Manatane anymore,
which is really surprising, man. That was one that very beginning of season 1, I'm just like, all right, this thing hits like a truck. It's awesome. I'm just gonna punch everything, and it is falling off the face of the earth.
Partly due because it's like Dynamax means you lose the band, which kind of sucks. But
the biggest thing is like I played against one the other day. I'm just like, I can't remember what all this thing does.
Like, everything. It actually does everything.
And I'm like, I played with this for quite a while, and I just cannot remember what this does now.
Yeah, it's really cool because it does everything, but it only does one thing at a time. You have to go back and forth. If you can't hit your opponent, like say you Earthquaked and they have a flying type, you're kind of just stuck.
Yep.
And it makes you switch, and it's just like it's not that great. But yeah, I like this team. Swapping Rodon for Raichu seems right. Vanillux, maybe change your EVs just a little bit.
Yeah, just a few minor tweaks I would make, and I think
you want to hit like a truck, pretty much.
Yeah, for sure. I have mine pulled up here. I'm 252 HP, 252 speed. And then 4 into special attack, but mine's also my build is also different. I have Protect and Ally Switch on mine compared to Icy Wind and Freeze Dry. Is that the other attack?
Yes.
Oh, Ice Shard. I don't have
Ice Shard. That's what it is. Ice Shard. The way we proc it. Yeah.
Which, granted, I don't have policy on anything on this team, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
The biggest problem is like if we're putting on Raichu, both it and Vanillux want to carry Focus Sash.
Mm-hmm.
So you would probably need to be. I know there for a minute there was builds of a like AV, like an Assault Vest Raichu running around.
That seems cute.
It was real sweet, man. That's what I was doing back when I was running Garachoo, is I was Assault Vest. So I would need to dig that back up to see what all we could do with it.
So we ready to move on to our Rose Tower Open?
Yeah, man. I was pulling up Raichu on Pikalytics real quick. I always forget that it could surf.
Yeah,
I'm just scrolling.
Surfing Raichu.
I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, what the? Oh yeah, that's right.
So, whatever it was this past week, we had the Rose Tower open. Probably, by the time this episode's out, it's probably been a week ago now. Which, looking through the top 16 here, it's fairly diverse compared to what we're normally used to. Mm-hmm. I'm not seeing anything that's super duper similar from something else.
Yeah, there's normally... the last several weeks has just been like, all right, well, this is like the team to beat right now because it seems like everything is doing this with, 3 or 4 different versions of the same thing in top 8. But not really here.
And then this one is just like, there's a Venusaur in first place, there's a Dracozolt and Clefable in second place, there's Bravery in top 4, there's
that's another mon. That's another mon that's fallen off the face of the earth is Braviary.
Yeah.
Same with Corviknight, which is again down here in top 16. Like, there's a Corviknight here. Like, these are mons that we haven't really seen a lot of lately. Yeah. I think the meta is finally settling enough where people know what they need to anticipate and what they need to play against, and so it's just like, all right, well, this is here to combat exactly X, what is X?
Yeah.
So
first place.
Jumping right into first place here. We have Venusaur, Colossal next to Primarina, Conkeldurr, Dragapult, and Mimikyu. I forgot what Mons I was reading. I'm just looking at this Conkeldurr and this Dragapult, and I'm just like, I don't know what those are.
So this makes a pretty cool set of 2 triangles here. We got the Fire, Water, Grass triangle of Venusaur, Colossal, and Primarina.
Mm-hmm.
Notably, Primarina gets Aqua Jet to trigger Colossal's weakness policy, which Colossal sets up Sun for Venusaur, and Venusaur can hit everything else that Primarina is probably scared of.
Man, you're answering everything before I can even comment on it, man. You're on top of it today.
Yeah. And then we also have the other triangle of Dragapult, Mimikyu, and Conkeldurr, where we get to do just like Conkeldurr sits there and looks kind of funny at most of these psychic types and kind of worried, and then Dragapult just like, nope, I got you, clears things up, and then Mimikyu just comes in and is this other bulky physical, like, supporty thing.
Yep, Conkeldurr deals with all the steel types that Mimikyu's scared of. Tell you the truth, like, Psychic has kind of fallen off the face of the earth, too. Like, Psychic types as a whole.
The reason for that being is most of the Psychic types in the Galar region are also Fairy types.
True that. Seeing
notably
Hatterene,
the only ones, like, not Fairy type are Indeedee female and Gotharita.
Man, can
or whatever its name is.
Can I just say that I really hope we get Alakazam back? I just want to put specs on that thing and just go to town, man. I miss Alakazam.
How fast is Alakazam?
Hella.
Is it faster than Dragapult?
Let's see. Pulling up Cerebi real quick. 120.
No, it is not. Okay, noted. Dragapult still wins. Noted. But I like this first place team is really cool. I just like the Venusaur, Colossal, Primarina core.
Oh, for sure.
And then you can just slot in any 3 Mons beyond it that just like one of them, make sure one answers a steel type, make sure one answers like random flying types or random rock types, and then just like another support Mon.
Well, not only do you have Primarina here to be able to Aqua Jet, but like, if this is a physical Dragapult, you can put Surf on it to trigger Steam Engine as well. So now you have 2 insanely fast Pokemon on the field, one of which is Dynamax, and the other of which is basically the fastest thing in the game. Both of which hit like a truck now.
Yep.
So, granted, you don't want to be Special Dragapult doing that because you are going to do a ton of damage to your Colossal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So setting up policy and then just be like, yeah, all right, click this, it's fine, and then just sweeping is A+.
Yep. Moving on to the second place team here.
This is honestly probably the most unique team on this list, and there's a lot going on these lists. So it starts off with a Clefable, which, to be fair, we have not seen at all.
Yep. We've got Milotic, the sand pair of Tyranitar and Excadrill, and then we've got the dragon pairs of Dragapult and Dracozolt.
What's really interesting here is Clefable gets Magic Guard, which makes it immune to weather, correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So it actually pairs really well with sand. Because it's just like, yeah, I don't care. I can sit in sand all day. So I'm assuming this thing is like specially is there for defense basically. With its
I'm expecting Follow Me.
Yep.
Helping Hand.
Yep.
Maybe Gravity for Dracozolt.
I can see it. Yeah.
And also for Milotic's Hypnosis. And then probably like Moonblast.
Because there's this Milotic and this Dracozolt, I could firmly understand there being gravity on this thing.
Yep.
It does get access to screens, which is probably nothing here. Probably irrelevant.
Yeah, you're not fast enough to actually set up screens with Clefable. Notably, I'm surprised it's not a Clefairy.
Yeah, that's the big one we've seen. But I guess because we're in Sand, we just want Magic Guard, and like we're less worried about Friend Guard.
Yeah,
which I personally don't agree with, but there's a reason it's a Clefable.
Yeah,
and I think that big reason is because we want Magic Guard.
Most likely. Unaware Clefable's not really that great.
Yeah, Unaware doesn't do a whole lot, and then Cute Charm is just basically non-existent.
Cute Charm is just cute.
It's in the name, Carl.
Exactly. Going over this, we're probably bringing Dracozolt just because Lapras is a thing.
Yep, it deals with Lapras almost by itself every time. There's 2 Laprases on this list. I didn't see the one there. I lied. There's 2 Laprases, not 1.
We've got Sand Lead to do sand things. Milotic's good against Intimidate. Dragapult's just fast. Seems like a pretty balanced team, trying to kind of be this like kind of control-y thing with just like Sand and Clefable, and then Milotic and Dragapult and Dragapult just kind of be like backup damage and bulk.
You know, we kind of talked about it before we started recording, but this week for Draft League, I brought Sand, and there was never a moment in testing where Sand felt good, but it felt correct to have. Because, like, when I was testing online, it's just like, man, you have all this weather going on, you have Trick Rooms, so, like, Torkoal's really popular because it gets to do both, and Torkoal is slower than Tyranitar, but, like, you need to be able to control the weather in those situations, so having access to it is very important. Specifically against, like, Tommy, though, when I played him this week, he doesn't have any of the weather setters.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you know, on their own, Tyranitar and Excadrill are both very good Pokemon. And you can combine them together and get good results out of both of them, too. So, I could be wrong in saying that Sand was not good, but I think, as a whole, with all the other elements of, like, Sun going on, Sand is less powerful than it has been in the past.
Yeah, for sure.
And, you know, I say that, but there's a ton of Tyranitars here. Looks like 6 of them in top 16 here, so...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Yep, 6 of them.
I mean, most of them... There's 2 of them also paired with Sylveon, which is, you know, just speaking to me, man. Just right here in my heart.
I bet.
I mean, this... We'll talk about it here in a minute, but there is definitely a team on this list, and I'm just like, all of these Mons are everything I want.
Yeah. Going on to the 3rd place team, this one's probably the first standard team we're going to hit.
Yep.
For a while. This is pretty much standard hard Trick Room.
Yep.
Hatterene and Didi leads. You also have Butterfree, Dusclops leads with Torkoal and Rhyperior as your backup.
Yep. Pretty straightforward Trick Room, Butterfree support. Nothing to say that we haven't talked about 100 times before.
Yep.
Moving on to the other top 4 team here, we have Braviary, Incineroar, Rotom Wash, Tyranitar, Sylveon, and Gothitelle. So, this team's really cool. I really like this. The big thing here is, like, you have Sylveon Tyranitar to be able to proc Weakness Policy, which is probably what this thing is carrying. I cannot imagine this having any other item on it.
Yeah.
And then we have Incineroar to be able to do fake out things, Braviary to set up Tailwind and also go big if we need, like, just to have full speed control. We can max Airstream plus Tailwind. Rotom's just there for some coverage. Gothitelle, I'm assuming, is going to be putting some people to sleep, trapping some people in.
Yeah, probably.
This seems really cool.
Makes your party shots worth more, notably.
True. Parting Shot is really powerful, man.
Moving on out of the top 4 into the top 8 here, we have Togekiss, Ferrothorn, Incineroar, Rotom Wash, Dusclops, and Dragapult. And this Dragapult almost 100% is carrying weakness policy. Almost assuredly.
We are triggering it with
Shadow Sneak on Dusclops.
I'm smart. I was getting there. I'm just like, yeah, obviously that's what it's doing.
Obviously.
You're here for the color commentary, and I'm here just to say what things are, Carl. You should know this by now.
Looking over this team, I like the core for Rotom Wash, Ferrothorn, and Incineroar. They're all kind of just like, they're all dual types, and they all do things like really, really well. Like Ferrothorn's really good against water types, and then like Rotom Wash kind of just sits there and looks at grass types, kind of just weird. But Incineroar probably is Assault Vest, and it's probably actually just like a U-turn physical attacker instead of being the supporty, intimidate, fake out user we're used to.
It's I could see us having like this minor Trick Room sub theme here with Dusclops, Incineroar, Ferrothorn. So like if we need to play in Trick Room, we can. But like our primary goal is probably just go fast. Like that's why we have this Dragapult, just to punch things as hard as we possibly can.
We also have Togekiss to do the same thing. Just like try to be fast, try to punch things as hard, and then have a little bit of support left over in the back just to make sure we don't just completely get blown out by certain strategies.
You know, we see a lot of Rotom Wash here. Looks like we have 3 of them in the 4 of them in top 16. And I think it was when we were in Collinsville, we're talking about on stream how Rotom has been kind of everywhere here lately. And you know, this is back a month ago now, and a lot has changed since then. We're in Series 3 compared to Series 2, but Rotom is kind of fallen out of favor, to be honest with you. Like, we don't see Rotom Heat really at all. Like, there's 0 here. There's a single copy of Rotom Mo. And then Freeze and Fan we never see. Those 2 are just really bad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, man, if you're seeing Rotom Fan, show them my way, because I want my bad Zapdos.
Exactly. I feel like the reason we're seeing less and less of it is actually just more because we're seeing more and more sand. People are setting up Excadrill to just be Mold Breaker just to deal with Rotom, because outside of, if they're Sand Rush, they don't actually have a good way to deal with the Rotom Wash. So it's Mold Breaker Excadrill is probably why we're seeing less Rotom now.
I was talking about how I brought Sand this week for my match, and it's just like, I'm running Mold Breaker because like having Sand Rush doesn't really do a lot this week, so being able to have Mold Breaker to deal with anything I need to is just great. You know, being able to hit Rotoms in specific, because I think, I could be wrong, but I believe Tommy had Rotom Heat. I don't have the spreadsheet brought up. Do you, by chance?
No, I don't.
Yeah, we'll say he does. He's not here to tell me different.
Moving on to 6th place here, we see our first Lapras, paired with a Raichu, also paired with an Excadrill. Rounding out the team is Conkeldurr, Mimikyu, and then Togekiss as another support, just to hang out and have another fairy support type there.
And Fairy. Double Fairy is kind of rough here, actually. Like, I know
Mimikyu is more just like more of an actual ghost type than a fairy type. Like, it has fairy typing, but like you never really think of it being a fairy type.
See, I'm the other way around. I always remember it as a fairy, and then remember, oh yeah, it's also a ghost. So, but yeah, I mean, Mimikyu is really awesome, man. It is one that I love playing with, and anytime I get to see a good Mimikyu team, I'm just like, all right, this is right up my alley. Like Mimiklax, like stuff with Mimikyu and Snorlax together is just like, oh, this is awesome. I love doing this, but it has fallen out of favor a lot.
Yeah. Notably, this is probably a sub-Trick Room theme with Mimikyu.
Yep.
Because we get to do Mimikyu, Conkeldurr, Togekiss, Lapras, and just be this slow team. Like we were saying earlier with Raichu, we were talking about it could do speed swap things, and you could probably speed swap this Conkeldurr and be very, very, very fast from Conkeldurr. And just
Man, that sounds terrifying.
Just do fast, close combats and fast rain punches all the time.
Man, I can't imagine Conkeldurr having the bulk it does and then slapping on like 170 speed on it.
Yeah, it's just insane. Lapras does Lapras things, Excadrill does Excadrill things, Togekiss does Togekiss things. This team's pretty straightforward on its face.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you run up against it and you kind of just look at it, it's like, oh well, this is pretty much what it is.
Like, I know what all these mons do, but what do they do together?
Yeah, and that's where the subtleties are going to be on most of these teams. That's where you're going to get your skilled players who have their teams written pretty much on their face, and they kind of can just get you because it's like, oh, it's actually doing this and not what you think it's going to do.
Like, you misread one thing, and I'm going to take advantage of that and punish you for it.
Exactly. 7th place team is kind of opposite of what we were talking about, where it's straight up on its face. Is like, here's what everything does. This one's a little bit harder to tell.
Yeah. But again, like, I know what all these mons do on their own.
Yeah.
So we have Conkeldurr, Charizard, Gyarados, Dusclops, Sableye, and Duraludon. Again, I know what all these mons do. But when you combine them together, it's just like, all right, hold the phone here for a second. What?
Yeah. So I'm looking at this and I'm trying to figure out, like, why are we playing Sableye? Why are we playing Duraludon? Why are we playing Gyarados? Because normally we pair Gyarados with Raichu, so the Sableye could have been a Raichu, and this team probably wouldn't have looked that weird. But because we have Sableye and Quash and Will-O-Wisp and all these other moves with Prankster on the Sableye, probably it's just like a little bit sneaky because you don't know what Sableye is going to bring to the table until you actually see it.
Here's the thing: is like it not only gets like Quash and Will-O-Wisp, but it also gets Sunny Day. So you can lead Charizard, Sableye, set up Sunny Day, smash for 1 billion damage, set up your G-Max Wildfire, and then they're going to bring in their answer to it and be like, all right, Quash that, kill it.
Yep.
So Sableye Charizard is actually surprisingly very good together. And then you have your like sub Trick Room theme with like Dusclops and Conkeldurr, which just pair really well together anyway. And then like the two mons I'm really confused about here are the Gyarados and the Duraludon. Those are the two I just don't understand what they're doing here.
Gyarados is probably Intimidate, because we need something, like, it's probably just Moxie isn't what we need on this team.
Yeah, we have enough damage between Conkeldurr, Charizard, and Duraludon.
Duraludon's probably actually the other Pokemon to pair with the Trick Room sub-theme, because notably Duraludon is actually fairly slow if you don't invest in speed. I believe its base speed is 80. Not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty
85.
sure it's pretty close to that. So if you go min speed Duraludon and just give it the Assault Vest and throw all your points into special attack and HP, you could actually be this Trick Room abuser that's not going to really die to anything because you resist most of your weaknesses, and you're probably you probably hit hard enough that you can take out almost anything.
Interesting note, if we are min speed and we are quiet, which is plus special attack minus speed, we get down to 81, which is not the slowest thing on the field when we're comparing to like Dusclops and Conkeldurr, but I mean that's very slow compared to like Excadrill.
Yeah,
it's actually Incineroar. So like
that's 1 speed faster than Lapras.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
So if people are like trying to min-max speeds on Lapras to like get ahead of certain Pokemon and they do it wrong and they're like, oh, I want to be 82 on my Lapras instead of 80, your Duraludon will get to go first.
Interesting.
So just cute little things to think about there. Going into the last team in top 8, this is another team that pretty straightforward. We see a lot of this one. It's the Decorate Alchemy sets with Conkeldurr, Dusclops, Incineroar, and Togekiss to round out the team.
This team is pretty sweet, man. I'm kind of all about everything this is doing.
Like, if there was a net deck team for Series 3, this is probably it. This is the team I think I see the most out of
Oh,
every...
no. Nowhere even near it, man.
No.
There was the one we talked about last week that was like, it was Trick Room, but had Venusaur on it. It was like Dusclops, Conkeldurr, Venusaur, Incineroar, Togekiss, Lapras, something like that. I have seen that team so much. It's like, all right, Pangoro's gonna punch things. That's where we're at today.
But
this seems sweet.
Decorate does great things in this team.
My biggest problem with Decorate is it's so bad against Follow Me.
Well, that's the other thing is Follow Me is actually, like, Togekiss is falling out of favor. So Follow Me is falling out of favor. So this actually gets better the more the Togekiss falls off.
I agree. The biggest thing is, like, remembering who all gets Follow Me so you don't accidentally do it. Because, like...
It's not hard. You can count them all on one hand.
The big thing is, like, Clefable. That's one that me and you know, but someone who's newer may not realize, hey, this isn't a mon I play against a lot. I don't know what it's doing. So just remembering little things like, hey, what all gets Follow Me? What's playable that gets Follow Me? So I can set up on them. You'll make that mistake once.
Yeah.
You'll learn very quickly, hey, I'm going to die to that next time if I do that. So...
looking through the back half of the top 8 of the top 16 here, I see a Durant team.
Oh, here, let me tell you about this team, Carl. This is my team of the week. This is my favorite team that we're going to talk about today. So we have Durant and Incineroar, Milotic, Tyranitar, Sylveon, Gothitelle. I love this team. And I want a breakdown of what this team is doing, so I have specifics. Because this is a team after my heart.
So what's weird here is there's no hard speed control for Durant. The best speed control we have is Fake Out on Incineroar.
And Gothitelle.
But, like, if you're running both, you're only going to be able to do Fake Out once.
Yep.
So you better hope you hit the right mon that doesn't have a fire type attack hiding underneath its belt. And I was going through because Tommy has Durant, and I'm trying to figure out ways to beat it. I'm like, there's a lot of Pokemon that just have incidental fire type moves just hiding, and you don't really know it. Yep. I found out Grimmsnarl gets Fire Punch.
I know. When I was working on my team for this past week, I originally had Ice Punch on Tyranitar, and then, like, the more I played with it, I'm like, man, I really don't have fire coverage outside of, like, Sylveon having Mystical Fire. I'm like, because I dropped Pangoro for this week, I really need more fire coverage. So Fire Punch very, very quickly got switched in, and it's just like, all right, we're gonna punch this Durant if it ever comes up, and then it didn't because I'm bad.
Notably, Gothitelle probably also is just like it's just like double hypnosis on Milotic, and Gothitelle just means you have double chance to try and put something to sleep. Does
Gothitelle get gravity as well?
It does not. The gravity user is always the Dusclops or the Clefairy or Sigilyph is another one. What?
It does.
It does?
Yep.
Interesting.
So it can set up its own gravity for hypnosis. It also gets gravity so it can so Durant can hit super hard. Interesting note is with gravity, Stone Edge gets better on Tyranitar, but I don't think that's what we want.
No, you want the spread damage.
I definitely like Rock Slide way more. I can see policy on this Tyranitar again, so we can, like, do things with Sylveon. It also, we could, let's see, what else gets priority here? Anything? Milotic doesn't get Aqua Jet.
No.
So we could have Surf on it to trigger policy. That's gonna hit really hard.
I don't like that at all.
So, it's probably not policy, to be 100% honest with you.
Yeah,
like if our only abuser is exactly Sylveon,
I would be more expecting Assault Vest there.
Okay, I can get down with that. Yeah, so there's probably not a policy on this team because we're gonna have Life Orb on Durant because that's super standard. Probably Berry on Incineroar, leftovers on Milotic. So the question is, the question is, do we have Berry on Milotic or do we have Berry on Gothitelle? Because I feel like it's one of those two. Because the other is going to have leftovers.
It's probably leftovers on Milotic and then Berry on Gothitelle. Also, Gothitelle does not get gravity in Sword and Shield.
Oh, does it not? Did I? Oh.
It does not. I was like, I'm 100% certain it does not because I tried to get it, and the only way you can get gravity on Gothitelle is if you bring it in from a different game, and then you can't breed it down. It doesn't breed down.
Boo! Oh, see, I didn't have my. I evidently didn't have a format selected on Showdown, so it showed me everything that's available. Boo! Yep. I'm bad at this. Ignored like the last 5 minutes of me talking. I don't know what I'm talking about. Carl, this is my resignation. You need a new podcast co-host.
I don't know if I can find one on such short notice.
Darn, you're stuck with me then.
Yep. Lightning around here to get through these couple teams here.
For sure.
We got a Trick Room, Snorlax, Hitmontop team, and looks like 10th. Yep, 10th.
Yep.
Got another Trick Room abuser set up here for 11th place with Chandelure and Liepard, with Conkeldurr, Duraludon, Inteleon, and Togekiss.
Interesting note about this one is Chandelure is not bad to Dynamax, so you can definitely just Dynamax, hit that max guard, and then copycat. That's not a bad setup because Chandelure is pretty damn slow already on its own. So being able to
it's super slow on its face.
Just max flare or max phantasm, and just dealing a ton of damage with that is a-okay in my book.
Notably, if you don't care about having Imprison, you can teach it Energy Ball too. You can get max Overgrowth on your Chandelure for water types.
Interesting. I forget it gets Energy Ball.
Yep, it's a weird one. 12th place team has that Rotom Mow we were talking about, and then Tyranitar's probably more. This is probably like a subtle sand team theme. Mm-hmm. We've got Corviknight and Gastrodon. We've got Charizard just to be like this spread damage wildfire user if we need it to be. And then we also have a Grimmsnarl in here, which Grimmsnarl is the weird one in this team, I feel like. I'm not sure what we're doing with it,
this is another one of
screens.
This is another one of those teams I'm just I know what all these mons do, but looking at them together is just man, this is... I don't know, you're probably a way better player than I am, and that's why you did well here.
If you look at the rest of this team and then take out the Grimmsnarl, it's this is subtle sand with some stuff, but then you add the Grimmsnarl and it's there's this whole new dynamic on. What does this Grimmsnarl do?
Fake out, Thunder Wave, set screens if need be, punch things occasionally.
Last half of this top 16 here, we've got a Cherrim, Colossal, Mudsdale, Grimmsnarl, Dragapult, and Conkeldurr team. Notably, Dragapult...
Cherrim doesn't get Trick Room, right?
No.
Okay, because this looks like a Trick Room team that doesn't have a Trick Room user.
I think Mudsdale is more just bulky ground type attacker than anything else in this team. It's probably Grimmsnarl Swagger. It's probably just Swagger strats.
Oh, you smart.
To beat people up. And then we also have Dragapult.
Another physical Dragapult so we can surf onto our Colossal.
Yeah. And then Cherrim benefits from Colossal setting up Sun.
Yep.
So it's just comes full circle, and then Conkeldurr is just there just to cover for coverage. Okay.
Yeah, this is... Once you put it like that, that actually makes this look a little more cohesive than, hey, look at all these bulky mons that I own.
Next team is, I was talking about earlier with the Dusclops Gothitelle lead. You just gravity and then put everything to sleep.
Yep.
We also have Trick Room sub-theme for Rhyperior and Incineroar, and Milotic's kind of slow. And then we got Durant.
When we want to go fast.
Assuming what we do with this Durant is we just put things to sleep, and then we just send in Durant to clean house. I feel like that's what we do with that.
Because it's just like, we're already slow. You know, like, the rest of the team's pretty slow, so let's just punch things from time to time.
Yeah.
I can get down with that.
Next team is another hard sand team. This one's using Arcanine instead of Incineroar.
Which I fully agree with on sand. Because otherwise you just have so much weakness to fighting. Like, you just get beat up so hard by Conkeldurr otherwise.
100%. And then we've got Rotom, Wash, and Togekiss and Dragapult to kind of round out this team. And then the last team is the other weird one that we're going to end on a weird note here because I've seen this team a bunch. Like, this specific 6 together. I have no idea why the heck we're playing Aegislash. I'm assuming it's just like weakness policy trigger on our Dragapult. But that's like the only thing I can think of to do with this Aegislash at the moment.
So it gets Shadow Sneak. Mimikyu also gets Shadow Sneak. So we have a couple different ways to trigger it there. How good is Aegislash's special to attack? It's pretty decent, right?
It's okay. It's
140. That's actually pretty high. So,
but that's if you're in blade form.
yeah, that's what I care about because we're attacking. So I mean, getting that doesn't seem the worst because that means our attack is going to be like 135, which is still really high, or 144.
So the trick here is power trick. You swap your attack and defense while you're in shield form, and then you
hold on.
No, that's actually what you do. So that's the strategy. I know why this Aegislash is there. I've done this before.
Oh my lord, Carl!
You power trick and then you shadow sneak into your ghost type or your psychic type to trigger your weakness policy, and you just blow people up. But that's the goal. Because when you go into blade form, you swap your attack and defense again, so your defense goes back up to 1 whatever, and then your attack is tiny. But you get to keep your special attack, so the rest of your moves are Flash Cannon, Shadow Ball.
Okay.
And just like you just blow people up.
I'm following you now.
This Incineroar is most likely Fake Out.
Yep.
Pretty easy to figure that out. This Mimikyu's probably carrying Trick Room.
I could see it.
Just to counter other Trick Room users.
I could definitely see it.
But beyond that, this is probably one of the weirder teams out here. I keep seeing it. I keep seeing this 6, and it's weird. And I figured out what it does, but it's just like keep seeing it in the top 16. How does this team keep being able to do its thing all the time when it's just so common?
Mm-hmm. It's because you get people like me who don't know what it's doing. Who run into it and just like, those are 6 Pokemon you own?
Yeah.
And then, you get got and you're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The big thing is I don't learn.
You should.
Well, you act like I talk about Pokemon on basically the daily basis at this point.
You do.
Oh yeah.
So, now what? What do we got left? We got...
let's talk about your draft league this week, because mine didn't go so great.
Mine went fantastic. I don't see the problem here.
Well, okay, here's the thing. I got hit by Hypnosis first try on both games, putting my Dynamax to sleep. Inteleon fell asleep 3 times in the matter of 2 games. And he would wake up and then Tommy used Yawn and I went right back to sleep. Just like, okay, great.
Good talk.
Like, I didn't want to be able to do anything today. That's fine. And there was, game 1, I missed a critical power whip from Serena to knock out Milotic. I feel like that was the pretty big, turning point of that game. Had I not missed that, I feel like I would have been in a way better position because that would have had me have, I think, 3 against 1 moving into just Durant.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I wasn't able wasn't able to clutch it because Sylveon does not match up against Durant very well when it has Tailwind going.
Yeah.
I protected, and his max steel spike did about 80 to 90%.
Jeez.
It's like, well, okay, I didn't want to live today. Durant hits really hard, man.
Yeah, you gotta. That's the trick, is you gotta figure out a way to get around that Durant he's got, because that Durant's gonna be the center of attention. And if you can get around the Durant, then the rest of the supporting cast, you could probably pick them off.
And that was the general idea. Like game 2, I was able to play out Tailwind the first time, and take out a couple mons, but then he switches back into Whimsicott and set up Tailwind for when he brings back in Durant, and then Dynamax and sweep the game from there. So, because I wasn't able to deal with Whimsicott the first time it was out, it was able to set up a second Tailwind and take over the game that way. So, there was a lot of just minor things that, had I played a little tighter and played a little better, I think I could have won. And, I anticipated Whimsicott Durant as his lead for game 1, and he did not. He led, I think, Milotic Arcanine. So I'm like, all right, well, game 2, he's probably not going to switch anything up. So I switched up my lead, anticipating Arcanine Whimsicott. Arcanine Milotic. It brings in Whimsicott Durant as his lead. I'm just like, dang it! So close yet so far. No, here's the worst part. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to switch into Torracat. Torracat's going to be able to do what he needs. We're going to go big with our Inteleon and just Max Geyser down this Durant and hope it does a lot of damage. He switches into Milotic. And so just everything went wrong on exactly turn 1. Like, not only did you anticipate the switch, you also anticipated the attack going into it. It's like everything went absolutely incorrect this game.
Just played you like a fiddle, man.
I'm pretty sure I text Tommy. Let me see if I can pull up the exact message. My exact message. Let's see. I'm like, how did you possibly read my entire turn? Just like, good lord, I could not have played this any worse if I had perfect information.
Yeah. My draft league went really, really well. We got to do a lot of fun things with Surfetched. And
which, if you haven't watched already, that video of Carl's league is on YouTube. That link is down in the show notes as always.
Surfetched gets 100% crit chance with Leak plus Leaf Blade plus Night Slash.
Oh, good lord! I didn't realize he has 2.
Yeah, he gets Leaf Blade and Night Slash, so you just walk up and just crit everything. Also, is scrappy because Quentin's team's 70% ghosts. Because that's just what he likes.
Which he was talking about all week of, I'm going to have Dusclops and Gigalith, I'm just going to explode.
Yeah, he tried to do that, and it didn't work.
And it cost him a Mon, and I think in game 2, he's just like, alright, explode, and he switched into a Ghost, and he's like, oh.
What was funny was I switched into Aegislash, and he had Gengar. It was Gengar Gigalith. I switched into Aegislash. I dodged the Sludge Wave. That pretty much takes out Ninetales anyway. Ninetales got to do its Aurora Veil for later, and then he explodes. I'm just like, okay, fine.
This could not have gone any better for me.
This is the best thing I could have done.
This Ninetales is basically useless anyway. It got to do exactly the one thing we needed it to.
Yeah.
It's set up weather, and it was able to, set up screens. That's all we needed it to do.
Exactly. And then we go into Surfetched, and Surfetched just cleans up the Night Slashes the Gengar, and then he's down. He's got no damage left. It's just Dusclops and I think it was Primarina was all that's left, and then I have 3 Mons in total still. So both matches were pretty clean. First match wasn't really anything. He went for Hypnosis and it didn't work, so I just got to sweep his team there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Dynamax at all match 1. I was 100% expecting the Gengar Dynamax to keep me trapped and then Perish Song, but I never even saw it. Surfetch just cleaned house that game.
I don't know if you saw my comment on the YouTube, the VOD. I said that the real play was you were talking about going for a Dynamax. I'm like, nah, the real play is the Dynamax in DD, so just to flex on him.
That's the other thing that surprised me. I didn't expect DD to OHKO the Gengar. I figured he had Focus Sash on the Gengar, so I'm just like...
He had a Black Sludge on it like he did last week when he played me.
Yep.
The worst part is,
blew it up.
I sent Quentin a team. I'm like, all right, the only thing you don't have is Gothitelle on this team. Just play this. So instead he picks up Gigalith. I'm like, what are you doing, man?
I talked him into Gothitelle this week, though.
Good.
So.
I'm gonna beat him if he doesn't pick up Gothitelle. I've been persistent about that for two weeks now. I'm just like, Quentin, let me help you help yourself. I did all the calcs and everything. I put this team together for you. Play it. And then he makes like 0 changes. It's like, Quentin, come on, man.
You're on bye week this week, right?
I am on bye week. So most likely what's going to happen is Kyle is playing Quentin this next week, and I am going to convince Kyle to let me record his match so I can commentate over it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be my first attempt at actual commentary and not, me talking over my match. So anticipate that to go just swimmingly perfect because, obviously. Yeah. And then, Carl is our fantastic editor and will do everything for it to make me actually sound decent and not like I'm a potato.
I'm playing Tommy. Tommy's Durant scares me, so we have a team built to make sure I don't die to Durant.
Yeah, we spent probably about an hour before the cast just working on this. You're just over here. All right, so with this investment, I can do X damage. I'm just like, all right, man, I'm going to sit over here and play with Unfezant because that's really cool.
Yeah, I've done all my min-maxing already. The team is pretty much set up. I just got to finish getting it all put together. I got to put together the Incineroar because my current Incineroar is max attack, max HP because I used it on Kyle and blew up his Lapras with it. So now I got to go and build another Incineroar that is going to be kind of bulky and no attack investment and just Flare Blitz the heck out of this Durant if it Dynamaxes. Because I will survive the hit first and then just trade going back. That's the goal. We also got Mudsdale, which kind of just looks at Durant in the face, and neither of them really get to do anything to each other, but Mudsdale just gets really, really bulky, really, really fast after that. We've got Surfetched again, because who doesn't love 100% crits? We're also bringing Ninetales Goodra, because that duo has been, like, the top-tier duo I've had the entire time, having Weakness Policy, Aurora Veil, Ice Shard, and all that coverage on Goodra, being able to double Blizzard if I need to. It's been great. And then we're rounding up the team this week with Jellicent doing its bulky water impression with Will-O-Wisp and Strength Sap. We're bringing Muddy Water just because stab water type and accuracy drops for that Durant. And then we're also bringing Energy Ball because Milotic is scary and I don't have a real good way to deal with it outside of Goodra Thunderbolts and Surfetch Leaf Blade.
Yeah, the Milotic was between Milotic and Durant. Those are probably the two scariest mons for me this week playing against Tommy. I had Serena as my only real coverage for Milotic. Honestly, because I wasn't anticipating him bringing it, and then it just did so much work against me.
Yeah.
I feel like my team would have been pretty well set up if I had brought Butterfree instead of Serena this week. Just be like, all right, you're going to sleep. Stop it.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that nonsense.
I don't know what you're doing, but stop it, man. Get
notably,
some help.
because Quentin's team does the same kind of stuff where he's trying to put you to sleep. Goodra has Thunderbolt for this reason, so I can set up Max Lightning. My entire team is grounded, so no one will fall asleep, period. Sick. That's why I did it for Quentin, and it's what I'm going to probably do for Tommy. Leads first game one's probably going to be Ninetales Gudra, and Ninetales is going to be speed tied with that Durant. We're going to see what we can do. If he gets that Tailwind off, then Durant's going to be faster, but he's going to have to either hit G-Max Gudra, or D-Max Gudra, or he's going to have to hit Focus Sash Ninetales. It's a lose-lose situation both ways. So we'll see what happens there. If he does the Arcanine Milotic lead, Gudra still gets to just blow up people. So
interesting.
I'm pretty sure +2 Gudra can still hit that Milotic pretty hard.
Yeah, it'll do a lot. It'll absolutely do a lot.
Outside of that, Mudsdale's kind of cute. Like while I was doing the calcs for Mudsdale and Durant kind of just sit there and just look across each other and just buff themselves back and forth. Do about 30%, and then they both do about 10%, and then they both do about nothing because they're both just sitting there just raising their defenses, looking at each other.
How high can we actually get? Very. Gotcha.
The trick here is I have a benefit. I have body press. So
True.
all those stamina stacks actually pay off, and I can just body press into them and just KO mons left and right with that.
Like, all right, you're done. Go to bed.
But that's my plan for Draft League this week. Yeah, I just got to get this Incineroar pretty much built. I also got to make sure I got Jellicent built correctly, which that's not hard.
What do you need done for your Incineroar? I may actually have it built already.
It's max HP, 252. It's 124 defense, 132 special defense. Nope. Adamant.
Nope, you're on your own.
Yeah, I figured. I've got a million Littens I can just go pick one up and just do something with.
I also have a million Littens, but only like 2 are actually good. Because I bred for a ton of them, man, and I just could not get a good one.
Notably, I was breeding you Littens for Torcats.
Yep.
While I was doing that, after I sent you that one, I just kept going because why not? Might as well get a decent Torcat myself. I got a 0 attack Torcat after I sent you the decent one. I got a no good, and I was just like, oh.
I thought for a second you were gonna say you got a shiny and be like, Carl.
No,
hear me out.
No, it's not shiny.
Like, I have a mild addiction to shinies.
Oh yeah, I already gave you one. You don't need another one.
And to be fair, that one is real good. That Grimmsnarl is real pretty.
I'm trying to remember the stats for Torcat that we did, and I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I actually have that saved because I am useful. I don't have it saved because I am garbage. It's on my phone.
Okay.
I'll send it to you here afterwards, man.
Okie dokie.
Anything we want to touch on before we call today?
April Internationals is next weekend?
I might actually be playing a Magic tournament next weekend.
Oh, you're going to play in the historic thing that Jeff's doing?
It depends. I don't know. I'm starting a new job next week, so I am unsure what my schedule is going to be for the foreseeable future. If I am off Sunday, there is a decent chance that I am playing a historic event on Arena, so we will...
Well, my goal is to play the April Internationals and stream it, so...
What day is that?
We'll see what happens. It's that Saturday, that same Saturday. It should be this next Saturday and Sunday.
Okay. Well, we will figure it out then, I guess.
Let me look real quick. Should be... Let's see here. It is April 9th through April 12th. So yeah, next week. So I plan on probably doing all my matches, as many as I can get on Thursday and Friday for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday I might have to work, but then Saturday I might have to work, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, interesting. Again, it just depends on my schedule for the next week. I'm really hoping, because I work, so we're recording the 3rd. My current schedule is Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday at my first job. And then my new job, I start Wednesday. So hopefully it's not Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh no, that's 100% what it is. You should have just took extra days off at your old job.
I'm not surprised, but it's whatever. I'll be fine.
I'll say that's on you.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'm gonna be making way more than I am now, so I am okay with that. Anything we want to touch on the way out?
Nope. I think I tagged it all.
Okay. As always, everyone, if you are listening on YouTube, go and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications when new videos go live. If you're not subscribed to YouTube, that link is down in the show notes. Make sure you go ahead and hit that and do everything I just said. Past that, we also have a Discord channel where we have Team of the Week submissions every week. We also have a variety of different rooms to talk about a variety of different topics depending on what you like. The most popular one is obviously our Pokemon tab, but who cares? They all get used to some degree.
Yeah.
We also have our Twitter. You can follow us there at LR Lessons, myself at Cardinoble25, and Carl at Musical_33. You can find Carl and myself as well on Twitch. Carl is at Musical, myself at Mr. Missouri25. We have an email. That link is down in the show notes as well for questions, comments, concerns about the show. Any other business inquiries you might want to endure or pursue. Past that, I think I got a whole lot of nothing.
Same. That's it.
Okay. I think we will be out of here till next week to talk about Carl playing some stuff in the April Showdown thing. I can't remember what it's called.
April International, I don't know.
Yeah, the April Showdown thing.
Yeah.
We'll be back then, everybody. Have a good week. Peace.